quick demo on a quick effect that is creating a speed run special effect using Adobe After Effects CC. So if you look at what I've got here, I've got my student volunteer Josh filming and quickly, almost rapidly, kind of like the Flash running through the lab. So the footage that I got for this, I filmed all in one take using a tripod, really important because we're going to use a clean plate and an effect plate. If you don't know what a clean plate is, a clean plate is just a shot with nothing moving, just the background, no subject. And then the effect plate is where someone's actually moving through the space. If you look at the video, that looks like this. I've got him just running through. I told him to stop and made sure that he stopped while he was still on camera, so we kind of put some tape on the floor, and there's the last few seconds here where it's just the blank space, and that's my clean plate. So let's go ahead and make a new project in After Effects and try this out. So, new project. I'm going to go ahead and drag in that footage. Same stuff. Whoops, not that. I'm going to go ahead and drag in the footage. Again, really important that you do film that clean plate because we are going to use it. If you saw in my end result, we're going to be duplicating a lot of our layers. So it's important that you start naming your layers based off of what they are. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate or find that clean plate. For this clip, I recorded it at the end. So I'm going to scroll through, find the part where he's completely off the frame, and then I'm going to trim it there. Well, first off, I'm going to duplicate it, actually. Command D to duplicate. So Command D and duplicates my layer. Then Alt or the Option key and the left bracket to trim. And now I've got just this section of clean plate. I'm going to move that to the front. So just this is clean. There's some shadows moving, but we'll deal with that later. And I'm going to drag and drop my clean plate to the bottom, and I'm going to name it. Easy way to name is if you click on a layer, and then you hit Return or Enter key on the keyboard. I'm going to name this Clean Plate. And then I'm going to have a start point for his running and an end point for his running. So now just on top, I've got him starting to run. Let's go ahead and find where he starts. Let's trim that, move that here. And I'm going to go ahead and name this layer Start Run. And I'm going to find the frame, one of these frames where he starts running seriously, like where he actually he started and now he's moving. Let's zoom in and make this easier to see, because we're going to be doing frame by frame work here. So let's find the frame where he starts running, like right there, like leg up and he's moving. And then once again, I'm gonna trim and duplicate. So let's go ahead and Command or Option right bracket to trim that. Command D to duplicate. And now I'm going to move one frame. Command and the arrow keys let you move frame by frame. So I'm going to move just one frame, Command right. And I'm going to name this, double click layer. I'm going to name this layer my run frame. Click on the layer, hit Return on the keyboard, close this. I'm going to name this my run frame. So if I zoom back in even further so I can see the individual frames, I just want one frame of him running there for this. So let's go ahead and grab that. Command right, trim it, and I got this little bit. So he starts running, and then on this frame, I'm going to create a mask around him using the pen tool. So if I zoom in, it'll be a lot easier. If you don't know the pen tool, it's the same as it is in Photoshop, Illustrator, all the Adobe software. I'm just going to create a quick mask around our friend. I encourage you to spend a little bit more time than I do. I just want to get this out of the way for the sake of the tutorial. But what this is going to do is it's going to mask out, as long as I have that layer selected, it's going to mask out everything that I do not select. So it's going to hide everything. But we have the clean plate below him, so we shouldn't actually see anything different. I'm doing a really sloppy job on this just to go quickly so this video doesn't take up too much of your valuable time. You see, I know your time is valuable, just like I feel that my time is valuable. And there, quick mask made. Now, nothing looks different yet, but if I trim this guy and then hide these, you see that this layer is just Josh. It's just what I trimmed out with that layer mask. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer a handful of times. Let's zoom back out 4 or 5 times, because that's how many frames you're going to have of him actually moving. So I'm going to Command D to duplicate, and I'm going to move it once more. And then on this frame, I'm going to move the whole thing. So I have my selection tool again, not the pen tool. I'm going to move him a little further ahead, and I'm going to scale him up. It's okay that he's going through that. We'll deal with that later. I'm going to Command D again, move it a little bit further. Whoop. Make sure I select my duplicate. Move it a little bit further. Scale it up. Make sure I'm zoomed out. And then I'll do 4. Move this one another frame. Make sure that I can see what I'm working with here. Move them a little bit further. The whole thing, not just one point. Works better if I zoom in. There you go. Not the mask, just him. There we go. Not too big. Moving back, and there we go. So now he runs through. Now that's not exactly what we want. We do still need the end frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Command D to start run. I'm going to name it end run. I'm going to extend end run until I find the end point of his run, where he's like stopped. I told him to like act like he just like ran really fast and act like he's really cool or something. Josh, you are really cool if you're watching this. So he slows down and about right there. Let's trim that. And let's put that at the end. So right after that one frame. I got an email. There we go. So now, if we zoom back in, watch. Boom. But something's wrong here. It's not, the effect's not done. We need a little bit of motion blur so it doesn't just look like a few frames of still Josh moving through. So what I'm going to do, after I move my little camera here, I'm going to search for directional blur, and I'm going to put a directional blur effect on each of these little clips. Directional, there it is. Directional blur. Drag and drop it and put it on each of these little clips. I really need to move myself. There you go. So the directional blur, if I go to the frame or the clip that I put it on, you have the direction. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an angle that kind of fits, maybe like 60 degrees, 61. And the blur length. For the blur length, I recommend between like 100 to 200. Really just blur the heck out of that clip. If I zoom back in to fit, you'll see what I'm talking about. So now he is just a blur. And I'm going to do that with each one of these duplicate frames. Select the directional blur on. Whoop, I said 61 or negative 61 degrees. And then between 100 200, maybe you want to like slowly increase the number, maybe you want to slowly decrease the number, as long as it's a big directional blur. Promise that we are close to being done. I don't like the videos to be too long because I value my time. Last one. Directional blur. Negative 60 degrees. That works for me. Depending on your clip, you might find out another angle works better. Oops. Cool. So let's put myself back. And now let us watch. Boom. So if I wanted to, I could move each frame around. Each one of those run frames, I could like move and rescale depending on like how quick it is or if it should be a longer space. I can add sound effects too. Like I could look up on freesound.org. I could find like a really cool like zipping sound effect, or I could go record something that sounds like, because maybe you want a zipper, or maybe you want a different kind of effect. After that, color grading, lighting effects, all that kind of stuff that I cover in other videos. So thanks for watching.